Skiddles, and he is 5 years old, and in mid-February he started collapsing and falling down, not eating, not drinking his water, and we were just devastated. So we took him to an emergency vet, and they did some blood work, and they told us that he needed to go see his regular vet the next day. So we took him in the next day. She did some x-rays and more blood work, and day by day he wasn't getting any better, and I ended up calling in to them and saying, hey, you really need to help our dog. He's collapsing more, he's having a hard time urinating, everything that comes so normal for every dog, walking, drinking, eating, he couldn't do any of it at all. So they gave us a referral to another clinic, and they had cardiologists and internal medicine vets and so forth, but nothing. I'm trying to think. Oh, they ran more blood tests, and they did ultrasounds, and with each day it got worse. So then we ended up taking him to a neurologist because I thought it might be something in his brain. So the day we took him to the neurologist, which was a week and a half after this whole episode started, he was limp as a rag that day. I literally had to lay him down on the scale, and he was just listless. It just broke my heart. And even when the neurologist came in to see him, he just literally laid on the floor, and it was hard. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And he was recommending more tests, and I'm like, I don't want to do more tests. Is there something else we could do? So he was leaning towards it might be narcolepsy or cataplexy. He gave him an injection of something that was a stimulant, and Skiddles did perk up a little bit, but it didn't do enough to make him even stand up. So when I got home that night, I said, oh my goodness, I have to do something. So I started searching the internet, and I came across some chiropractors and so forth. I wanted to do the holistic approach, and so I ended up calling Vitality Chiropractic, and I spoke with Dr. Erin O'Connor, and I was sharing with her the situation Skiddles was in, and she said, yeah, she could definitely, work on him, adjust him, whatever. So it was Thursday, so about 10 days into this, I brought him in, and he had his first adjustment, and that night he just rested. And the next morning he actually got up and he was eating from his dish and drinking from his water. I was like, oh my goodness, I have to take him back in. So I called Dr. O'Connor. I said, oh, can I bring him back in? And she's like, well, he needs time to let his body adjust. But we were so elated after the first adjustment. We were just like, oh my goodness, it's our dog, he's coming back. So 4 days later, we brought him back for another adjustment, and each and every time he just continued to get better. We're here today for his 5th visit, and he is perkier than he's ever been. He's running, he's jumping, he's eating, drinking, just everything you want your dog to be doing. So we are so grateful, and we are so happy to have our dog back. And thank you, Dr. O'Connor.
I'm going to shake off. There's your good shake. What do you think?
There's the happy dance.
Hi, baby. What you doing? Huh? Are you happy? Come on. Yes, we'll do the yes, sir.
Oops.
Skiddles, totally different, huh?
Come on.
Hi, Dr. Erin O'Connor here to talk a little bit about Skiddles' case. Skittle came in with severe neurological issues. He was collapsing in and out of consciousness with his body going limp. We concentrated on checking his nervous system, and what we found on him, and what we find in most neurological cases, was his atlas, which is the first vertebra in his neck, was very misaligned. The atlas is very important. This is where the brainstem passes through and develops into the spinal cord, which then continues down through the spinal column, branching off throughout its way to every organ, tissue, and cell in your entire body. So this is why it is crucial that this vertebra allow the free flow of communication of the nervous system through it and allow the opening to be unrestricted for the body to function correctly. If the atlas is subluxated or out of alignment, over time it can lead to many different symptoms and disease. Many times we see unknown, unexplained neurological issues where every test the dog's vet is doing is coming out normal, but the dog is most definitely not. Or things like seizures, back leg paralysis, proprioceptive issues, etc. When Skiddles had his atlas adjusted, he was unconscious, and his whole body shook as he laid on the table for about 30 seconds, as if it were resetting itself. After that, he jumped up, wagged his tail, ran around the room, and he stayed awake and alert for the most part of the rest of his visit, and has been improving ever since. His owners even report that he seems livelier and full of even more energy compared to when he didn't have his problem.
Thursday, 8:07 a.m.
Dr. Erin, this is Gwen calling you about Skiddles. I am like rejoicing with tears this morning because he actually ate from his bowl. He has not done that in 2 weeks. And I really am attributing it to his adjustment that you did yesterday. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. For me, this is a major difference. And he actually walked a little bit more today, really than I've seen in a long time. So I am so grateful and thankful and appreciative. So we're planning on seeing you Monday at 1:15. Thanks again. Bye.
End of message 05 a.m.
Good morning. This is Gwen. We're calling regarding Skiddles. I just had to share the incredibly awesome news. Each and every day he is getting better. He has a spring in his step. His tail is up. He's actually walking. He wants to run when he's outside. It's the cutest thing. He actually walked downstairs yesterday, and he played with his toy for the first time. So Kendra and I are just so elated and thankful and grateful, and we cannot tell you how happy we are. So thank you so much again, Dr. O'Connor, for changing Skiddles back into what we know him to be. So we'll see you on Friday. Thanks. Bye.